Hello there on your phone. I'm the same as you. I feel the same way you feel. I feel sometimes disconnected, sometimes irritated, sometimes discontent, sometimes oddly potent and self-involved. I'm talking to you particularly because that Muji quote generated a lot of interest on my social media platforms. Feelings are just visitors, is that it? Feelings are just visitors, let them come and go, by Muji, a very brilliant teacher. You should check out more. I do loads of his meditations, they're fantastic. That quote, feelings are just visitors, let them come and go, the reference that calls to mind for me is a Rumi poem who talks about himself being a guest house and the various emotions visiting him. It's a sort of, Rumi's a Sufi, so maybe it's a Sufi idea. But giving you a visual language to interpret feelings, because I live with a 2.5-year-old, she's my kid. I watch when she gets really, really angry or really, really sad. She's entirely possessed and inhabited by these moods. I suppose we all are. You get a bit of information, and in the words of Muji, we combine with that information. You become aggressive, sad, excited, whatever. To have an attitude of witnessing towards feelings means that life becomes a little more serene and tranquil. If you live a life of, spiky variety, terrifying troughs, giddying highs, then learning to watch your own emotions is important. Like when you wake up late at night, you can't get back to sleep. What is this sort of carousel, this whirling endless rail of continuing spiraling and somehow imprisoning thought? Like, it takes me a little while to relax enough to just observe the thoughts and think, wow, who is it doing this thinking? Who is it that feels afraid? Who is it that feels envious? My counsellor said to me, envy is your own potential that you're projecting onto another. That made me feel good. That made me think, oh yeah, that is what it is. Now if I feel little twangs of envy, I use that little device. It's, for someone like me, and maybe someone like you, it's so important not to get caught up in my own emotion. I can't stand it. I get so lost in there. I can't afford to be making decisions from a position of agitation or a position of anxiety. I have to learn to observe my emotions. I suppose much of this is our way of adapting to living in kind of peculiarly comfortable prisons, eh? All of these impulses were designed for different environments. Were designed to protect us when we lived very, very different lives and motivate us, control us. They were like kind of jet fuel: jealousy to protect, envy to strive. But now look at us. Where do we live? In this peculiar zoo where we're not even really able to correctly analyse what's happening to us, because the discourse around our reality is quite carefully controlled. The language we're loaded with is carefully controlled. The story of our history, the story of who we are, so expertly controlled. It's very difficult to witness the outer world. The first system that you have to learn to overthrow is the system inside your own head, the system that's been implanted, the system that we see as the self. So a quote like that, of learning to see your feelings as visitors and your thoughts as visitors, makes you question, what is your nature? Who are you? Particularly if you don't like yourself, that's a very helpful tool to have if you think you're not good enough, if you're inadequate in some way, or you want to harm yourself or change yourself. If you're governed by feelings of inferiority, the idea that you are not those feelings is very, very liberating. The idea that you can watch them, move away from them, and evolve new patterns. It's exciting. Maybe this is like a game. We don't know, do we? We don't know what this is that we're experiencing as conscious, awake beings. All of the systems that we're told are so certain and so solid, for me, they are, if not arbitrary, certainly malleable, certainly not absolute. I mean political, social systems of identification, systems of control and domination. Perhaps the idea of being oppressed is so resonant because it's analogous to something that happens in your own psychology, that you are oppressed by your own mind. Learning to see your feelings and your thoughts as visitors is the beginning of a kind of freedom from that. Learn to see your thoughts and feelings as visitors. The positive ones, they are fleeting, they will pass. The negative ones, they will pass too. And none of them are real. There's a genuine freedom in this. Hello, I'm doing these new videos more frequently now. Please hit the notification button at the end of this video, because then you'll get a little bell when I post a new video. And I'd like you to get a little bell when I post a video. Then I can, I don't know, be buzzing away in your pocket. Sounds like I'd be like a little pocket mosquito. Anyway, subscribe, click the bell, because I want more people to watch the YouTube videos. You specifically.